What's good and what's up, guys? Let's do Jet here some more. Let's play Xenoblade Chronicles. In the last episode, we walked around and saw Fiora get mad at Ryan. That's probably going to happen a lot because Fiora doesn't like Ryan. I also gushed a lot about the game, and I don't think there's actually a lot of tutorial stuff talked about. This time, however, there'll be tons of tutorial talked about because we're going over gameplay mechanics. If you're looking for actual story progress, you might want to skip a video or two. If you're looking for quests, go to the next episode. But like, if you need any help knowing any type of gameplay mechanics like auto attacks and all sorts of other things, watch the video. I'll probably put times and stuff off on side saying all the things we'll talk about. You also check the description just in case you don't feel like clicking things on a video. Maybe you're weird. Well, let's get started. Alright, let's go ahead first. Let's talk about the main element that will probably have you struggling for at least the first 10 or so hours of the game. We'll talk about the combat. Primarily, the different things like I said, auto-attacking, talent gauges, party gauge, all sorts of other things. So let's start with the basic. Your main way of attacking is going to be through auto-attacks. In order for auto-attacks to hit, you have to be within a certain range. You don't have to be right on top of the enemy, but if you want to be funny and just stand like right next to a bunniff or whatever, you can go ahead and do that. The importance of auto-attacking is the giant circle in the center of the battle palette being where your arts are, and the big circle being your talent gauge. What the talent gauge is usually a special type of attack. For most people anyways. Ryan, it just kind of draws the aggro, and aggro I'll explain a little bit. So along with the talent gauge, you have different kinds of arts. These are known as your battle arts. They range in wide variety of colors such as red, blue, purple, green, yellow. It's important to know what each of these do for the fact that they all have different elements. The red ones are your physical attacks. They're basically the ones that will just damage the enemy. Depending on like certain placements with certain abilities and stuff, you'll be able to deal greater damage, such as like backslash. If you're behind the enemy, you'll be able to deal greater damage than if you use it like in the front or sides. Same with Slit Edge, I believe it is. Pink arts are your break arts. They're primarily just for inflicting the break status. But the importance of this is so that the green art, Topple, will be able to work. There are exceptions to toppling without needing break, but don't worry about that. You will not have those kind of abilities for at least a while. Yellow is daze. What that does is when an enemy's topple, it just basically leaves them stunned for a little bit longer, so it leaves them like unable to attack you. Blue arts are your healing and a few other things, but primarily they'll be for healing and some type of defense. Purple are your ether base or your offensive statuses. Really, you don't need to worry too much about these right now because there's a whole lot of stuff to ether, and we'll just worry about that later. But just keep that in the back of your mind that that's what that does. And the orange arts grants auras. Auras are usually added benefits to yourself, or they do something to enemies or with your party members. Most of the stuff, like, you just don't need to worry about too much right now. Just know what each thing does and kind of go from there. Now, it's all well and good to know about these battle mechanics, but there's always a major drawback, and here comes the major drawback. Understanding the auto attacks, talent gauge, and battle arts are good, but there's also one thing to also understand when it comes to these things, that being aggro. Aggro is the system in place that shows who the enemy is looking at what time. The circle around the character shows who that enemy is looking at. How you build up aggro depends on the amount of damage. Let's say, for example, Shulk deals 1,000 damage and Ryan deals 2,000 damage. Ryan will have the aggro because he dealt more damage. But the thing to know too is how to get rid of aggro. If Ryan takes 1,000 damage, the amount of damage he receives is actually double in the aggro system. So that 1,000 damage Ryan receives, it negates his 2,000 damage, so now Shulk has the aggro. It's really weird, but it makes sense when you look at it from a math standpoint. If you look at it from any other standpoint, you're probably going to go a little bonkers. Along with receiving damage to lose aggro, there's other ways as well. You'll get different arts that will do it, like Shulk's Shadow Eye, that will lower aggro. Dying, that usually helps. There are also different types of arts that will steal the aggro, thus leading into Ryan's talent art, which will take the aggro from other players. So it's very important to know different ways to give aggro and also to take aggro. Now let's go ahead and talk about other parts of the battle system, primarily the part that I find to be the most entertaining, that being things related to chain attacks. The gauge up at the top is your party gauge. You have 3 bars to fill up there. Each bar that you fill up allows you to revive a party member if they get incapacitated in battle. When the 3 bars are entirely filled up, you're able to do a chain attack. What are the benefits of doing chain attacks? Well, for one, you can deal massive damage. You can eventually lead to a strategy called topple locking. Ignore that phrase right now because it's not relevant at the beginning of the game. I just want to mention it because I love it. The benefits of chain attacks is if you're about to, if a character is about to die and you initiate it, they will hang on with 1 HP. So thus, like, if you have Shulk in the lead, you use Light Heal to heal that damage, and the healing will actually do more because of the benefits of chain attacks. Something to know about chain attacks is how to do more attacks within it. And this leads into a very important mechanic that must be understood, that being tension. What makes tension so important is it not only makes your chain attacks better and longer, it also makes your abilities in combat, just regular combat, that much greater. Everyone starts at neutral tension, which is, let's say, 100 points. The burst affinity, if you get the initiative in battle, allows you to increase that. If you get it anywhere within the inner circle, you increase it by 50. If you get it right on the edge, you get 100. So you want to try and master the ability to get it in that outer circle, because that extra tension is fantastic. The benefits of having higher tension is your auto attacks do more damage. Your auto attacks, if you get a certain level of tension, will actually fill up the party gauge. Auto attacks do not normally fill up the party gauge if you have very low tension. You'll also get greater... Your critical rate ability will also be greater, and a bunch of other very useful abilities. How you can tell you have very high tension, it depends on the character icon. If you see them just have a default face, that means you probably have about neutral tension. If you see flames behind the portraits and they have a really angry battle picture, you have very high tension, so you're going to do very well in battle. Alright, so moving away from combat for a little bit, let's go ahead and talk about another system that is pretty useful to understand, that being affinity. Affinity is great because it leads into so many things that you could do. Part of the combat, part of other things, and just all in general, it's fantastic. Affinity is the links between the different characters. The 2 characters you're probably going to have the highest affinity with throughout the entire game is Shulk and Ryan. We'll get into that later, I just want to point that out. There are numerous ways to increase affinity. Doing quests increase affinities. Heart-to-hearts, for the most part, will increase affinities, especially if you get like the best choices, because you can gain 8 points in that. There are also other systems. I don't know if you can do it early in game. If you can, there'll probably be footage here, but you can give items to characters depending on like what's an item, because there's items that characters really like, items that they moderately like, and then items that they hate. If you give them items they hate, you will lose affinity, so be very careful about that. Give them the items that they like because you want to increase that. In combat, the best way to increase affinity is to if an enemy or if a character is dazed, go up to them, health them out. Chain attacks are usually good, and just various other elements that benefit the other characters. You want to do that because it raises affinity. In quests, the way to raise affinity is usually just have characters in there, but if you have certain characters, like every quest, well, most quests will have one character that comments. If you have someone in there that will kind of reply to them, you'll gain affinity that way. So there's not really too much strategy with that. Like, knowing who comments on what is important, but as to like who have it there, just kind of play around with the different combinations. You'll eventually raise everyone's affinity if you do it right. Going to the more kind of minor mechanics, because these aren't ones that you'll probably struggle too much with, but it's good to understand this nevertheless, that being the Collectopedia and map completion. Let's start with map completion. You don't need to run around the entire map to fill it in. The way to fill in the map is to find all the landmarks, and a lot of times you'll find most of them accidentally. So just explore and maybe use a map of the area, because some of the areas, they get ridiculous, and the landmarks you probably won't find. I wouldn't blame you if you don't. The Collectopedia is another one that I wouldn't also stress too much about how you fill that up. Is the little item orbs that are floating around. Just grab them and eventually you'll find the ones that you need. There are guides to show you not only what items you need, but also where to find them. And you'll probably need those guides because some of those items have very low spawn rates. It can be a little frustrating, but very rewarding because you do get some fantastic abilities, fantastic gems, and all sorts of other things that you probably need. Now, the last thing I kind of want to mention that isn't too prevalent now, but I still want to mention it nevertheless because of the fact that there's already tutorials, that being unique monsters, affinity coins, and leveling your arts and stuff. Start with the unique monsters. Unique monsters are basically your super bosses, although that's technically not true. Unique monsters are the enemies that actually have names. The benefit to find these is they almost always drop gold chests, which have really good abilities, really good like items and stuff. And they also give an affinity coin. These affinity coins lead into the skill tree. The skill tree being different ways that have added benefits and stuff in battle, like different abilities and benefits throughout the entire game, both in battle and not, such as you'll be able to get an ability that will decrease the party gauge, because when you're outside of battle, the party gauge depletes. So you get an ability that will actually kind of delay the depletion of that. And the affinity coins basically just allow you to intermingle with these different skills, see what you can put and stuff, because every kind of skill requires a certain amount of affinity coin. Level up the arts is by AP. AP you get when you also get SP and experience by just doing whatever, battles, quests, find landmarks, what have yous. I think that's just about everything I want to explain early game. There's plenty of things to delve into, like your like stuff in combat, like your debuffs, your buffs and stuff, but that's typical RPG stuff that you can kind of figure out on your own, such as like daze, topple. I don't think any characters can actually get the break status. But some of the things that I'm leaving out are either because they're more or less pretty self-explanatory, or I want to talk about them later in game. Like the character battle, like the different character battle styles and stuff, I'll be going over those throughout the normal Let's Play, so there's no real point in me talking about them now. Just know that one of the things I want to stress is play as different characters, because everyone has really good battle styles. You can play as Shulk the entire time. It's fun. I like playing as Shulk, but try out the other characters. They're really fun. And just the main thing that I want to stress again is don't worry too much about all those things. The quests do get a little crazy at times. Collectopedia is a little irritating to complete, but it's all very rewarding, all very fun, and just I love this game. So yeah, hopefully I was able to explain some of these mechanics. Hopefully you were able to understand and actually be able to hopefully you were actually able to improve like the combat and stuff, because I know that's one of the main things that people have problems with. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and leave it off here. Next time, like I said, we'll be taking care of requests. If you're looking for story, you might be waiting an extra video. So until then, I will see you all next time.